Welcome, collectors and diecast enthusiasts. Thank you for joining me for another new episode of Diecast Emporium. In today's review, we're going to be checking out the NZG Caterpillar 994 wheel loader. Now, the real 994 wheel loader, through a series of trials and tribulations and 3 canceled projects, was finally unveiled and introduced to the world in October 1990. Initially, it had 13 to 26 cubic yard bucket capacity options with a 40-yard coal bucket option. As we take a look at the model, it's important to note that back in the early 1990s, this was one of NZG's largest models that they had ever tooled up, so another interesting tidbit about this particular piece. All right, let's get to it. Let's take a look at the box. You can see very clearly it has the outline drawing right here. Cat 994 Caterpillar, a limited edition collectible from Sales Guide Inc. If we take a look at the top, up here we have Caterpillar, Cat 994 wheel loader in a variety of different languages that you would find as a commonplace on these NZG and Conrad pieces. This side, same deal, with 1/50th scale on the bottom left corner of the box. Let's turn this thing over. All right. Right here, you can see official launch edition of 5,000 models made. You can't really see it very clearly here on camera, but you can see that this one is serial number 3,299. Not to be confused, this is not a Norscot model. It is simply distributed by the Norscot Group, but it is an NZG model, both here and here. And here is your licensed Caterpillar product. They used to have this logo back in the 90s and the early 2000s. Okay. Let's start the unboxing process. So obviously this is your outer sleeve, and you have styrofoam inside. Here is your certificate of authenticity, which I will read to you in just a moment. There is our wheel loader. Have some bubble wrap. Take this out. We have our NZG model tag. This is something I encourage all collectors, whether they are new or been around for a while and they are looking at picking up an NZG model. These came with most all of the Caterpillar models from the late 70s all the way up until the mid-90s. So make sure if you're buying a new Cat NZG model that it has the tag with it. All right, this model is huge in both size and weight, so be careful what you grab onto when you pull it out. There we go. There's the loader. Let's remove the last piece of bubble wrap. All right, let's read the certificate of authenticity, which is still in remarkable shape despite this model actually coming out in 1992. So it reads, Caterpillar building the tools for mining, a limited edition collectible distributed from Norscot Group Incorporated, certificate of authenticity. This model is one of a limited edition of 5,000 scale model replicas of the Caterpillar 994 wheel loader, licensed product of Caterpillar Inc., copyright Norscot Group Incorporated 1992, formerly a division of Sales Guides Incorporated, model made in Germany, 1/50th scale. There is your signature from the former chairman of the board of Norscot Group, Norm Stern, and printed in the USA. Nothing else on the back. So let's take a moment here and pause. When we come back, we'll begin the model review, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this short break. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for sticking with me. So when this model came out, the real 994, it was almost twice the size of the next existing largest loader by Cat, which was then, of course, the 992C. So this was something unprecedented, truly a massive piece of engineering. Again, the model by NZG 150 scale still to this day is quite impressive considering the rudimentary modeling tooling that they had back in those days. So you have rubber tires, which look great. The wheels, the actual hubs, those are plastic and slightly off color, but still doesn't detract from it too much. Now, one of the main differences between the launch edition models and the later versions which would follow are the handrails, which are clearly Caterpillar yellow. They're black on other versions of the model. Same thing with the cylinders. So that's one of the easiest ways to distinguish it, of course. Turn around, looking at it from the back, you have Caterpillar. Another difference, too, is you have these stairs here, these access stairs, and on later versions of the NZG 994, you would have black access stairs here, and of course on the other side as well. That's another way to differentiate the two. You have Caterpillar here, of course, your belt line or your red line, 994. Coming over to the front, it's kind of funny looking at the cab on these, because at least to me, you have such a small cab on such a gigantic piece of earth-moving mining equipment, and on it you have Caterpillar. You have a very similar style 992, 988 cab of the time, where it kind of comes to that triangular point. You can see some slight detail inside, such as a seat, a steering wheel, a couple levers. Not too much detail on those. Your cylinders, of course, are that plastic off-color that match the wheels, but generally speaking, 90%, I'd say conservatively 95% of the casting of this model is predominantly die-cast, and as I said before, very hefty. Here's another aspect that I really enjoy, and that's the visibility perforations on the spill guard, which you can see are completely drilled through. Very nice touch there. Taking a top-down look at this, you can see you have 4 exhausts, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 air cleaners. You do have anti-slip patterning on top of the catwalks and the walkway on this loader. Turning our attention now to the functionality, you do have rear axle oscillation, as you should on any wheel loader, and that works quite well. The loader steers by articulation, and you can see that the range of articulation is excellent in either direction, and it will hold that pose. Let's go to the other way as well. There you go. All right, let's test out the loader functionality. Again, very stiff cylinders, so we want to be careful on these. Pretty amazing that it will hold the pose. You can see just how high up that goes. Your bucket will tilt and dump to there, which is plenty good enough to get any of your simulated dirt or ballast material out. And as you saw before, it will curl back to here. So, now the 994 initially when it came out, this was designed to really load a 785 size truck. Now I don't have a 785 here to show you, but I do have a 793, which obviously is a significantly larger truck, but just for size comparison, wanted to bring him in and see if the 994 could get over the side of him. And as you can see, with no problem whatsoever, he can load a 793 size truck, even though initially the original 994s were never intended to load a 793 size haul truck. So there you go, collectors. That wraps up my review of one of my favorite larger NZG models that truly have stood the test of time. You can see, honestly, that this thing is pretty robust and pretty well made. These, honestly, to this day, can reach pretty hefty prices on the secondary market. I was lucky enough to procure mine off a local gentleman that I met, and he gave me a fantastic deal on this, which I truly appreciate. If you guys are interested in seeing the newest version of the 994, which Diecast Masters has made both in a coal version in white and obviously your standard 994K, check out the link on your screen right now. I have recently done a review on those. Also, if you'd like to see my large mining wheel collection, click on the other video link that you see on the screen, and you can watch that video. As always, thank you all so very much for watching. I'm Tommy with Diecast Emporium. Take care, be well, and I will see you in the next review.